Okay, so hello everyone. So last meeting, we started our discussion on the acculturation model by John Schumann, right? So before we continue our discussion, let us first have a recap. So basically, John Schumann's idea on acculturation is how the second language learners adjust and blend in socially and psychologically to the users of the target language. It is not just about learning grammar or vocabulary, but feeling part of the community that uses that language. For example, imagine a Japanese who moves in the United States. They want to learn the English language, but learning goes deeper than just studying the language, so they start to join community events, make friends with the locals, and understand the American culture. So, as they become more comfortable with this new social setting, their language skills naturally improve because they are immersed in it. Okay? So last meeting I mentioned that this model primarily focuses on adult second language acquisition, right? Like, for example, immigrants or those who moves to another country or another place, and but not in formal settings. So next, according to Schumann, he says, according to Schumann, acquiring a new language is part of a general process of acculturation. So, from my example a while back, when the learners immerse themselves with the Americans, when they start to join community events and make friends with them, they're not just adopting to their way of living, but also they are acquiring their language. So according to Schumann, there are two factors which contributes to the success or failure in language acquisition. So first, we have the social distance. So when the learner is social distant to the users of the target language, they are less likely to acquire that language. So for example, a student who moves to a new country and actively participates in local events, make friends with the users of the target language, and joins clubs is likely to learn the language more quickly than a student who stays mostly within their expatriate community and doesn't engage with the local culture. So in here, so in so last meet so it was discussed before that exposure is a primary factor in language acquisition, right? So the other factor in acquire and so the other factor which contributes to the success or failure in acquiring the second language is the psychological distance. So when the learners are emotionally and mentally open to the users of the target language, they are more likely to acquire that language. For example, I want to learn Mandarin but felt anxious and uncomfortable when talking to the users of that language, then I would more likely fail in acquiring that language. So, to sum it all up, according to Schumann's model, a person who has both positive social conditions and supportive psychological factors will acquire the second language more effectively than someone lacking these supports. So this ends my presentation. Thank you.